The wind, a phantom whisper through the pine trees surrounding the Lindbergh estate in Hopewell, New Jersey, carried the scent of damp earth and the faint, metallic tang of approaching rain. It was a night of hushed anticipation, the kind that settles over a house like a shroud. Inside the sprawling mansion, and Morrow Lindbergh, her face a pale oval in the lamplight, hummed a lullaby, a melody as fragile as spun glass. Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr., known affectionately as the baby, slept soundly in his crib, his breaths shallow puffs of innocence against the vast, dark canvas of the night. Outside, the world held its breath, the shadows stretched long and skeletal, reaching for the windows like grasping fingers. A lone, scrawny owl hooted, a mournful sound that seemed to echo the unspoken anxieties of the era. The nation, still captivated by Charles Lindbergh's solo flight across the Atlantic, held their breath for their hero, and by extension, for his impossibly perfect family. The baby, with his fair hair and cherubic cheeks, was the symbol of their American dream, a living embodiment of progress and prosperity. But on this particular evening, March 1, 1932, the dream was about to shatter. The meticulous planning of the kidnapper, a man named Bruno Richard Hauptmann, was as deliberate as the ticking of a grandfather clock. He had studied the estate, the routines, the very rhythm of the Lindbergh household. He knew the lullabies and sang, the times Charles was away, the vulnerabilities woven into the fabric of their security. His ascent up the sturdy ladder, placed with chilling precision against the nursery window, was a testament to his cold resolve. The rain, a blessing in disguise, muffled the scrape of his shoes, the creak of the aged wood. The window, left slightly ajar to allow for the soft spring air, became his portal. The ransom note, scrawled in a distinctive hand and left on the sill, was a declaration of war on the public's adoration, a brutal intrusion of reality into the gilded cage of celebrity. It demanded $50,000, a king's ransom, and contained a chilling warning. We warn you not to put any detecting apparatus onto the child. The discovery was a scream caught in the throat. Anne, rising in the early hours, felt an icy dread coil in her stomach as she approached the nursery. The empty crib, the open window, the taunting note, the tableau of absence was more terrifying than any visible threat. Charles, the man who had tamed the skies, was powerless against this unseen predator. The world, which had cheered his triumphs, now watched with a collective, horrified gasp as their hero faced his greatest defeat. The ensuing days were a blur of frantic hope and crushing despair. The Lindberghs, their faces etched with unimaginable grief, cooperated with the authorities, their every move scrutinized, their pain a public spectacle. The ransom money was painstakingly gathered, a testament to the nation's outpouring of support, but also a grim acknowledgement of the terrifying power of this unknown entity. Communication with the kidnapper was a dangerous dance, conducted through anonymous intermediaries and coded messages, each exchange fraught with the possibility of a fatal misstep. The ransom was ultimately paid. A bag of money, painstakingly collected, was left as instructed, but the baby did not return. The silence that followed the transaction was more deafening than any alarm. The nation, which had so readily offered its aid, now felt a gnawing sense of betrayal, a deep-seated unease that settled like a persistent fog. Had they been played? Was this a cruel joke? The questions hung heavy in the air, unanswered and tormenting. Then, on May 12, 1932, a truck driver discovered a crudely wrapped bundle by the side of a dirt road, a few miles from the Lindbergh estate. It was the baby. The life that had been so cruelly extinguished was a stark, irrefutable testament to the kidnapper's barbarity. The nation, united in its grief and outrage, demanded justice. The Lindbergh baby kidnapping had become the crime of the century, a wound that would scar the American psyche for generations. If this story of resilience and heartbreak has moved you, please like this post to share your support for the Lindbergh family and acknowledge the enduring impact of this tragedy. The manhunt, a relentless pursuit that spanned years, was as intense as the initial discovery. Suspects were questioned, leads were followed, and the nation held its breath with each new development. The ransom money, marked with specific serial numbers, became the key to unlocking the mystery. The trail eventually led to Bruno Richard Hauptmann, an immigrant carpenter living in the Bronx. His possession of a portion of the marked bills, combined with the distinctive handwriting on the ransom notes, seemed to seal his fate. The trial that followed was a media circus, a public dissection of guilt and innocence. Hauptmann maintained his innocence, claiming he was framed, that the money had been planted. His defense, however, was hampered by his immigrant status and the overwhelming emotional tide of public opinion. The evidence, while circumstantial in parts, was damning. The jury, swayed by the emotional weight of the case and the relentless pursuit of justice for the murdered child, found him guilty. On April 3, 1936, Bruno Richard Hauptmann was executed. The ending, however, continued to stun the world. Doubts lingered, whispers persisted. Was Hauptmann truly the sole perpetrator? Or was he a pawn in a larger, more sinister game? The complexities of the case, the missing pieces, the lingering questions, all contributed to a narrative that refused to be neatly concluded. The Lindberghs, forever marked by their ordeal, withdrew from public life, carrying their unspeakable sorrow in private. The Lindbergh baby kidnapping remains a haunting chapter in American history, a stark reminder of the fragility of innocence and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition and greed. It forced a nation to confront its vulnerabilities, to question its heroes, and to grapple with the enduring enigma of human darkness. Did this narrative draw you in? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this pivotal moment in history. Share your comments below and let us know what aspects of the story resonated most with you. As you reflect on this gripping account, consider subscribing to our channel for more compelling stories that illuminate the human experience. Your subscription fuels our ability to bring these narratives to life.